and welcome to Match Fishing TV. In this week's show, we've got a bit of a special outside broadcast. We're at the Tackle and Guns Trade Show, and later on in the show, Tom Scully.
Hello.
And Matt Godfrey.
Hello.
We'll be having a look at some of the latest match gear that's being released to the trade as we sit here. But first of all, we've got some matches to talk about, and tonight's show we're going to be looking at the Division 2 National, we're looking at the World Pairs, and let's kick off with the Div 2.
Yeah, it sounded like it was a very tough match for a lot of people, even though the framing weights won't actually show that really, because there's one particular section of the Birmingham phase of the canal where this match took place called Forge Lane, and I'm told the top three individuals were all actually sat in a line on there. Yeah, and they were, Roger Abnett who actually won the match with 25 kilos and 45 grams, so that's nearly 60 pound of bream. Great weight for a narrow canal.
Proper.
Second was Simon Wayne, he had 12.5 kilos of skimmers again, and third was Colin Smith, who had 12.21 kilos. But the key to events like this is always consistency as a team, and obviously points in them harder areas will have been just as important as in the prolific section.
A load of bream, so.
Yeah, and it was a really strong canal team who actually come through on this. It was no surprise to me when I saw the result. Census Black Country, there was a group of very good narrow canal anglers from the area,
And they also did well on the festival recently, didn't they? They
very
qualified
well
for the final of that, and they're a good outfit.
They've got some real...
I can't understand what they're saying, half of them though.
No,
they don't talk English.
Proper yam-yams,
Oh,
aren't they?
big time. I drew next to one of them at Evesham, and he turned and asked me if I were catching, and I was like, eh? I couldn't understand the word he was saying.
Can we have subtitles from the back country? No, great result for those guys.
It was. They won it with 205 points. Matrix Halifax were second with 48 kilos and 204 points, so they were only a point behind actually, it turned out, so it was a close match.
One.
And they actually tied for third with Drennan Oxford, again on 204 points.
Another good outfit.
Definitely, but a much smaller weight, so I'm guessing Oxford must have done really well in the tough areas, because they only had 19 kilos to Matrix Halifax's 48 kilos, so...
Yeah. Those bream will certainly have helped Matrix Halifax.
Definitely.
Okay, so that takes care of matters on this side of the Irish Sea, but the World Pairs has been going on over in the Emerald Isle.
I tell you what, Raj, I was looking at Facebook at the results coming in last week, and I kept saying to you, I wish I were over in Ireland. It looked awesome, big nets of roach, hybrids, bream, and what an event it turned out to be. Jens Koschnick and Thorsten Kusters, a duo from Germany, took top spot. They had a weight of 189 kilos, 905 grams over 5 matches.
Yeah.
So they've had a proper day's fishing.
Absolutely.
Every day.
5 proper days fishing.
Oh, unbelievable. Like I said, I saw some pictures, and some mornings it was flat calm, beautiful blue sky, and people were going across to, is it Horse Island where they go on a boat?
Yeah, they go on the ferry.
Yeah, so Jen's put some stuff on Facebook.
To get there, it's planes, trains and automobiles. It's a proper journey.
But then,
tractors and boats and everything.
It's proper brilliant by the looks of it. I just want to go. And then other days you look and it's like they're going through North Sea to get to a peg.
Rough, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they won over 10,000 quid in prize money and a load of Daiwa products as well. Daiwa tournament rods and TDR reels. So Daiwa sponsored it generously as well. Second place was Rod Scott and Michael Buckwelder.
Excellent. Okay.
2 regulars to Ireland. They had another brilliant weight, 174 kilos over the 5 days. And third place went to a duo that you hear a lot about in Ireland, Phil and Steve Ringer.
Yeah, they're a bit good on that pairs, aren't they?
Definitely. The story there that I heard was the comeback though. I think they weren't doing very well, or they were sat mid-table, and the last day they come back with a massive weight. Because obviously it's decided on weight. It's something you can do. They really come back strong the last day. So, but it was interesting looking on the results as well. I looked on Wednesday, and Jens and Thorsten obviously ended up winning it. They were actually sitting first and second individual on Wednesday as well. So.
Wow.
Sounds like they've put in a very dominant performance.
Another good Irish festival, that.
Oh, it were awesome. Jens actually won it individually in the end. He had 98 kilos. He run a Daiwa Cup, which is an individual event within the pairs, and he picked up £1,000 plus 1,500 quid worth of vouchers from Daiwa just for winning it individually alone. Lee Addy, he's always there or thereabouts in Ireland. He's never out of the frame. He was second this year with 97 kilos over the 5 days, and Will Freeman, another man who's ultra consistent.
We mentioned him an awful lot.
He's on fire, isn't he?
He was third. So.
Excellent. Okay, back over this side of the Irish Sea, the River Thames Festival.
This fished its nuts off, to put it mildly.
That is a technical term.
Yeah,
we're allowed to say that.
It is. It were fantastic. I saw John Beasley on our Subscriber Classic on Friday. He obviously helped run the festival along with Paul Glenfield. And he was saying, he's fished the Thames all his life. He's never seen it fish so well. But
this season has been incredible, hasn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah,
fishing.
but such variety as well. He says, there's a good roach sport you can expect on there. The odd bream weight, that you expect. One lad on Wednesday, on the last day of the festival, had 9 tench in his catch shop. Something that you just don't see on the Thames, John was saying. But it was won by a good friend of ours, wasn't it, Bradley Gibbons. He had 5 points, a weight of 46 pound 10. Now Brad's only 19, so fantastic achievement for such a young angler.
And a bit of look at the draw, I understand.
Well, it has been said.
Well,
it has
we'll
been
not
noted.
mention it. We'll not mention
the
the 2 end pegs that he's. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think Simon.
Peg one first 2 days, wasn't it? Something like that.
That's for a day ticket, second day apparently.
That's it, yeah. Simon Wilsmore put on Facebook, didn't he, after the second day, I wonder if Brad can do it all 3 days, peg one, for 3 different days on the trot. But
No.
it was, well,
He didn't need it. Didn't need it the 3rd day.
Yeah.
no. Steve Sanders, who was Brad's mentor, really, he was second, wasn't he? So it was a good week for them to have stopped together in the first and second, so they split the top 2 places. He had 6 points and a weight of £67.15. And Neil Richards were third, again with 6 points, but with a slightly lower weight of 51.11. So
That's great. And you mentioned the Subscriber Classic there, or Maruku Subscriber Classic. Good match this year, wasn't it?
brilliant.
Lovely match. Lovely. I love going to these events that we run. I mean, people are so nice there, aren't they? And I've said to you before on this show that you go to these serious matches like big money finals and everyone's so intense, but you come to our subscribers match and people just seem to enjoy themselves so much. It's a proper relief.
It's a more relaxed atmosphere.
It's brilliant, honestly.
I mean, they take the fishing deadly serious when but just being there and mingling and
it's brilliant. Such a fun day out. That anyone who subscribes can fish it. And I'd subscribe to fish it myself now after that. But
brilliant match.
The fishing at Tunnel Barn Farm, it wasn't any ridiculously big weights that they have been having there recently, but it was incredibly close.
Very close
really
match.
good fishing match. Kerry Kirkwood took the title this year. He had £113.13 off peg 44 on New Pool. But it were interesting because I said to you on the morning, I fancy Kerry just there, didn't I? And 2 or 3 hours in, I'd been round 3 or 4 times watching him, not seen him catch a single
I
fish.
didn't see him catch.
Took an odd picture of him, but I never saw him catch a fish. But speaking to him after, he's caught everything in the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
He does that a lot, Kerry. He feeds a line down the middle of the snake lake with maggots, builds it up, and catches late on.
stays away from it, no pressure on it, and then when he goes in.
Yeah, it's definitely a tactic he uses a lot, I think that.
Very consistent, Kerry, on all kinds of venues this year. He's doing ever so well.
Great angler, good lad as well. Second were Kevin Wadge from Peg 1 on Canal Pool. He had £112.12, he caught shallow on casters. And third place was Ryan Lidgard, who had £111.15, so £3 separating the top 3.
Very, very close match.
Brilliant fishing match, yeah.
It is a great event, and we know that an awful lot of people subscribe to our magazines just so they can fish that match.
Yeah.
They get great magazines as well, obviously, but that's the main reason for subscribing. It's the magazine's the bonus. It's fishing that match.
I'll tell you what, as well, everyone who fished got a goodie bag off the generous sponsors Maruku. When it was brilliant, big massive bag full, 4 or 5 bags of ground bait, some pellets.
It's the best sponsorship we've ever had for that event, isn't it?
Really
Every
good.
competitor got 30 quid worth of bait, and you can't say fairer than that,
No,
can you? Absolutely brilliant.
And we've got an interview with the winner, Kerry Kirkwood, as well.
Let's have a look at that.
Well, I'm here with the winner of the 2016 Maruku Subscriber Classic, Kerry Kirkwood. And I'm fed up of shaking your hand and saying well done. You're on fire, aren't you? Absolutely awesome, mate. How have you caught them today?
It's been mainly shallow. I've caught shallow the last 2 hours solid really. One or chuck then. But I struggled early on, really couldn't put them together at all.
Right. It's interesting that, because I come walking round earlier and I thought, I fancied you this morning on that peg.
Yeah, there's a tiny bit of room on that spare peg to me left.
Well, I thought I'll definitely get some pictures of Kerry, and 2 or 3 times I walked around and I never saw you catch a fish. And then he's weighed in £113. So, do you do that a lot, Kerry? Catch late in your matches?
Not on purpose, no. I just couldn't catch early. I was fishing on the deck early, caught loads of perch, loads of silvers, and then carp just turned up and started to catch shallow. Solid.
Lovely stuff, brilliant. Well, 560 quid you've won today. What are you going to spend that on?
I've no idea. I'm sure she'll spend it for me.
Well done again, mate.
Right, no problem. Thanks.
Thanks for that, Matt. Okay, now, Darren Cox has finally managed to win the Midlands Angler of the Year.
He has. It's something he's been trying to do for years.
I know.
He's been second twice, he's been third, he's been fourth, and this year he's gone and won it.
Hey, well done, Darren.
But just to explain the format, it's a bit different to a lot of matches in that it's actually split into 2 separate mini matches on the same day. First 3 hours are fished on the feeder, and there's just a little break where you can have a cup of tea or a sandwich and all that sort of thing, and then you have another three hours on the pole after. So
it's a popular format in France, that. You know, a lot of the club matches in France, they'll do that. Not necessarily change the method, but they certainly have a break in the middle of it for tea and cake. Somebody comes along with the trolley.
I'd like that. Why don't we do that more in this? I could really get used to that. A mid-match pint
Maybe
and a
like
bacon sandwich.
wine and a cheese board or something.
No, a pint and a bacon sandwich for me every day. But yeah, he drew peg 24, which is a fancied peg at Barston. He was quite happy there. And he caught £42 in the first half of the match on the feeder, and he was second in his section with that. And then he had a great last 3 hours on the pole match. It was £70 he weighed, and that was good enough for a section win. But even though he got 3 points, that still wasn't enough to win it outright. He sort of tied with 3 people on points, and it came down to weight to decide who actually won. So there was Mick Bull and Roland McAneeney on the same points as Darren, but he took the verdict on weight. So
Well
big
done,
well
Darren.
done.
Well done.
Yeah, I know he's been trying for that one. Right, now you've got your bags packed. You're off to Bulgaria
I
this
am,
week
on
with
Wednesday,
the England
yeah.
team.
Well, they're there already, the team sort of thing. We're going out to give them a hand bank running and mix a bit of ground bait up for them maybe.
It's a great place to bank run.
You've been as well, haven't you, Rog?
I went there. I was there when Tom Pickering won his individual title, and I bank ran for Tom. I was actually working for the Angling Times at the time,
Right.
but Tom and I are mates from a long way back, and so I did all my reporting job, but a lot of it was focused certainly on the
Nice.
second day on Tom.
What can I expect to see? What's the venue like?
It looks like home Pierpont, similar sort of depths, and my understanding is they've had to restock it quite recently.
That's
I think
what I've heard.
back then it was all carp and vimba, which are sort of a roach-eyed type of species.
Yeah.
And the carp were what dominated the results. The Welsh won the world title that year, and I remember catching those carp, getting those carp out fast, what it was all about. And we're talking about before commercial fisheries were around. So it was an unusual species, both for the England team and for any of the Welsh team as well. It's not a species that they were doing a lot of fishing for at home. It was a great match. One thing I do remember, well, there's several things I remember because it was a great week. It was still communist when we were out there. There were loads and loads and loads of wasps. Now, I think this is the same time of year, September. It can get very hot. What the locals got them to do was to get jars of jam, put a hole in the top of the jar of jam, and put the jam on the far side of the cycle path behind them, so that the wasps would go for that rather than for the ground bait, because they really like the sweet ground bait. Loads of people got stung. So I remember Steve Gardner got stung. I remember Roberto Trabucco loose feeding a Rolex watch. He's practicing throwing ground bait in like this, and his watch has come off. He had to get some divers to go in and get his watch back for him.
We're going to ask you what peg it were. I was going to go in.
No, the divers went in and they got it back for him.
I'll tell you what, there were all them wasps there. I can imagine there's a real buzz about the event.
Oh no!
What's wrong with that?
Oh no, you're banned now. No, you'll have a great time. As I say, because the venue's just been restocked.
Yeah.
There's going to be an awful lot of working out what to do next week. But it's like home Pierpont. The pole wasn't really dominant back then. It was a waggler match, but now obviously technology with poles and carp fishing on poles has changed the sport completely. So I would imagine it's going to be quite a different event.
I think it'll be interesting because, like you said, they were devoid of fish because obviously they eat a lot of fish in venues in them countries. So there were hardly any fish in it. In the last couple of months, they've been putting a lot of caraccio in, which are a fish similar to an F1.
Yeah.
And they've been catching weights of like 40 to 50 kilos in 3 hours.
Okay.
So it could be very much like a commercial style fishing. For all we know,
A fish catching match should suit England, do you think?
I think so, definitely.
Remember another thing about it, it's a big rowing course. It's probably wider than home Pierpont. There's a bridge right across it in the middle.
Nice.
Now, back then, the bridge was open, and it was an incredible vantage point to get like the continental ground baiting back then, to be able to stand basically above all the anglers. I remember Tom was drawn very close to it on the second day when he won the world title.
Brilliant.
You'll have a great time.
Well, we'll be doing some reports on the Match Fishing Facebook page, and hopefully, if we've got enough phone signal, a little bit of live footage of the World Champs taking place. So, over the coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday, check it out.
Excellent. Okay, well, we're going to take a break, and after the break, these guys are going to have a look around the Tackle England show and see if they can find 1 or 2 new items to show you.
Well, the first thing that's caught my eye at Tackling Guns is this, the Frenzy Match Seat Box. Now, to me, it sort of encompasses the best of a lot of different things that have gone before it, and puts it at a price that's probably never been seen before for a match angler. Because for this system, it's $679.99 for the system. The thing I like about it though is basically the frame is height adjustable. Like a lot of sort of seat boxes of this nature are fixed, so if you wanted to raise a seat up at all, you'd have to put extra trays in. But with this, by the adjustments here, you can actually, if you're taller, you can have it higher without having more trays on, or if you're shorter, you can have it lower.
I love it. You can basically make it as simple or as complicated as you want, can't you? Shall we unveil it?
Go on then.
Do you know what I like about it?
Go on.
It matches my hair.
It does, doesn't it?
Look at
that.
Nice orange
And that's
flash.
a nice thick cushion and all, isn't it? If you've got a bony bum, that's perfect, isn't it?
It's brilliant, brilliant. I like the drawers in particular. A lot of seat box drawers these days are a little bit flimsy. Got a reputation for breaking. These are absolutely solid as a rock. They're all compartmented out for you already. The trays themselves have got a little bit longer clips, so they clip in and out dead easy. It's actually stainless steel clips as well, so there's no chance of them rusting. Everything's finished off really well on it. Really impressed.
It's really well made. And the sneaky question I had to ask was, if you've got a reeve box and reeve trays, would it fit on these trays here on this box? And the answer is yes, it would. So it's fully interchangeable with any reeve trays. As Matt says, the only difference being the clips on this are stainless steel. On the reeve, obviously, they're the standard steel. Another little thing I liked about it, and just to show how much thought's gone into it, is this little thing at the back here. I don't know if I can actually take it off, but you'll be able to see it. And it's a little bit of lumbar support. So if you're carrying the box and you're fed up of bits sticking in your back, all the pointy bits, you've got a nice padded cushion to make it dead comfortable to carry. So,
and of course, you can't miss these new attachment system. They're absolutely fantastic, really easy to use. Clip them in and out dead easily. So one little bracket like that will hold various different kinds of attachment, and you can actually alter the angle on them as well.
Another nice feature I noticed is these things here on the foot plate. Now, when you're at venues where you've got to put a lot of nets in, one problem I often find is you've got two front legs, you have to have several attachment bars coming off them, don't you?
Yeah.
Not in this case. You've got your two front legs and two nice little knobs there where you can put even more keep nets on. So this is a massive thumbs up for me from Frenzy.
Love it. Well, we're here on the explosive stand that is Dynamite, and looking at some of these products, there's some of my very favourite personal ground baits here. Swim Stim Green, he's still going strong. Yeah, and we've just been speaking to the guys at Dynamite, and they're looking forward to having a real push forward with a lot of the great existing products, and they've got some exciting new ones as well for the coming 12 months.
There's some exciting changes that have gone on at the company, isn't there?
Yeah.
A little bit of a change around, a sort of parted company from Shimano, they were obviously originally joined at the hip with, and it's going to be an exciting few months for them.
It certainly is. I'll tell you what's caught my eye here.
Yeah.
These little beauties, meaty fish bites, and I've just been telling you, I actually won one of my very first matches using these, the Handsworth Youth Open, and every time I get a whiff of them, it takes me back and reminds me of that match. Smell them.
They smell very meaty, don't they?
They do, don't
They've got a new flavour, haven't they, Matt?
Yeah.
These ones?
The krill one,
Krill
yeah.
flavour.
Have a look at them, they're bright red in colour as well. They're lovely, like as an upbait on a method, or
Oh yeah.
if you're
And they
fishing.
smell a bit fishy, don't they?
Oh God.
Ooh.
Wouldn't want to leave them open in office, would we? And then there's this bad boy that's made a resurgence, fish guts. This stuff absolutely stinks. All that.
I mean, the other thing that strikes me looking at it, they've had some great products over the last couple of years that perhaps haven't been pushed as much as they should have, you know, and an example of that's definitely the hemp with the snails, for example. I
Have a
mean,
look at it.
this were a great idea. Hemp with bits of snail in. I know Mark Perkins actually won the Division 2 National last year on the Trent using snails
Yeah.
and feeding hemp.
Couple of them on a hair rig.
So
Beautiful
different, man, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And of course, they've got a stable of famous old products, the Swim Stim, the pellets. So,
And I'm told, I don't know if I'm really supposed to say this, but I'm going to anyway, because I'm that kind of guy. An exciting new silverfish ground bait developed by Rob Perkins on the way.
and he's not been catching much on it though, has he,
Oh
recently?
no, he's not been doing too well. Other than Division 1 National, you know, it's difficult to think what he's won over the
Yeah.
last 2 or 3 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've got a cheeky bag at back, so we'll go nick it.
I think we should.
Come on.
Now, another little product that's caught his eye on the Madfish stand is these. To all intents and purposes, they might look on camera like a standard landing net, but they're anything but, aren't they?
They are the lightest landing net I have ever felt, by far. Absolutely incredible, and that is thanks to being made of carbon. The frame is made of carbon. It doesn't look like carbon, it looks incredibly strong, but weighs absolutely nothing. I can't believe how light they are.
It's got to be a big advantage now when, you know, sometimes using long landing net handles on deep venues or venues we've got to reach a long way out, you know.
Definitely.
I think absolutely fantastic. You say it's so light. I mean, the only thing with them, they're slightly more expensive than a standard landing net. This is $36.99 for the small. It's slightly more, I think $39.99 for the larger size. But, you know, in match fishing, we're always looking for little edges, aren't we? I do think this could actually offer
100%. It's got some very fine mesh down the middle, so if you're using a hair rig or a band, it won't get caught up in it. A little bit bigger mesh at the sides to let the water out when you're scooping. And these will be available from around Christmas, apparently.
Yes, so everybody else is going to have to wait till Christmas to get your hands on them. The website's www.madfishing.com, but for me and you, Matt, I reckon if we go with these quickly.
Let's go. Well, this is a very classy stand indeed, isn't it? The Shimano one. And in my hand, I've got the Speedmaster AX Commercial, the new rod, or one out of the new Ranger rods from Shimano.
Do you know why it's called the Speedmaster before we go any further?
Because it's quick.
No, because it was designed by Nick Speed and he is the master at catching on rods like this. Yes,
brilliant.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what, he hasn't done a bad job because I've probably never seen a rod with such a beautifully finished off reel seat. Look at that.
It's really nice.
Really nice. Sits in your hand beautifully. It's very much like a lure setup almost, isn't it? But they've obviously took that from that side of things.
Concept.
Made it into a really comfortable seating.
The thing that caught my eye about it, Matt, is how it changes from 9 foot to 11 foot.
Brilliant, isn't it?
And this totally eradicates any flat spot. So normally, obviously, you'd have maybe a short section which you'd insert in between the butt and your sort of middle section. But on this one, a little bit. Have that picture?
You're making it longer?
We're making it longer, Matt. And then it goes in at the butt.
Brilliant. And the action on the rod is fantastic, isn't it? It's got some power, but it's incredibly soft as well. So
should we put a bend in it for him?
Shall we?
Come on.
Suitable for F1s. You're not going to pull a smaller carp when you're fishing a little method feeder, but absolutely more than capable of catching double figure carp.
Got the famous Fiji guides on as well. Alkanite rings. All in all, a lovely piece of kit. How much is it?
You can pick one up. This is the 911 one. I suspect this will be an absolutely massive seller. And you can pick this rod up for £174.99.
Well, we're here on the Maver stand, and I've just caught a glimpse of a real gem of a product. Well, in fact, it's a diamond, isn't it?
It is.
Literally. A range of 4 feeder rods in the new diamond range. The shortest, 10 foot 6 inches. Perfect for sort of commercial fishing, short chuck method fishing. Chucking to islands, that sort of thing.
Lovely action, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean...
Lovely action.
Think about that, mate. It's soft, but also in the middle section, you've got some real power, haven't it? So you're not going to pull out a fish at the netting stage. Lovely, lovely piece of kit.
And then, what's the other one there, Thomas? 12
Moving
foot?
up, we've got that's 10.6 is a 12 foot, which obviously is slightly more beefed up. Nice for sort of maybe method fishing at longer range, places like Barston, Packington. If you've got an island at range, you could hit it with that, couldn't you?
A little bit further. Have a look at this one. This is probably my favourite in the range. It's the 1113 diamond, and this is designed more for sort of natural waters, I think. You know, the 11 footer's perfect for like a bit of a shorter feeder chuck on canals, Gloucester Canal, something like that, you know, chucking a ground bait feeder. Put the extension to 13 in and you've got your perfect Trent feeder rod. Bit of a beast at that length, you know, you could chuck a feeder 70 metres, no problem at all. Really nice rod combo there.
But I noticed, speaking of beasts, there's one even more of a beast, isn't there?
There certainly is.
The old Extreme.
Diamond Extreme. This comes in 12, 13 and 14 feet, and that is a long range feeder rod. Feel like that's got some poke to it.
It's interesting, you were saying, weren't you, that when you were fishing the Trent earlier in the year, not that many companies do 14-foot feeder rods, do
they don't.
Would you use something like that for that kind of work?
I'd love to have had one of them on the Trent National, definitely. But
absolutely
that is
lovely.
Yeah, that's the diamond range, and they're all available for under 200 quid. The 10 foot 6 is 180 quid, 12 footers 190 quid, and the 1113 is 200 quid.
So not overpriced either.
Top flight match feeder rods.
Have a look at them.
Well, enjoy the show.
Absolutely fantastic. You know, there's some great products on display. I think the pick of the show for me though is definitely that Frenzy seat box.
You like that one?
It's a bit special, that.
Yeah.
That it's different. There's a lot of thought gone into it. You know, the thing that struck me about that, all these years we've been smashing the base of our spines with these big heavy boxes on our backs, and they put a cushion on it. Why did nobody think of that 20 years ago?
Well, that's the reason I've been putting all this weight on, you know, so it doesn't hurt my back so much. So I'll have to lose it again now.
Anyway, so thanks for the report, guys, and we'll see you next week.